It is less than 48 hours to my due date. I'm still making this video. I've had photo shoots this week, panels. I'm still getting 2 platforms funded. I'm launching one project for sales in my real estate development company and still pushing out a lot of volunteer work this week. I know you probably think I'm nuts and you're wondering how I'm getting all this done. Why am I doing this the last week of my pregnancy? Keep watching.
Most women would just be taking this week off.
Most women would be taking this week off. Okay.
So why aren't you?
So many of my friends are always like, I don't know how you do that or whatever. I'm like, well, I don't really have a choice. Like, I can't just lay around all day. Generally, one of my most successful actions in life is getting my work done so that I can loaf. I relax when my inbox is empty, my work is done, and I can truly relax. It's definitely a trait of ultra successful people because I've worked with a lot of them, where it's like you buy your time, you buy your relaxation time. Oh, you should be able to just, turn it off and relax. Not if you're really like running a company and you're really a successful person and you have goals and milestones, and that's really nice to be able to say. And if you can just relax and you sleep great, you probably don't have a very stressful role, and that's totally fine. But like ultra successful people that have a lot of pressure, you have to get your work done, because if you don't, you're not answering to anybody else. Like, that's just an aspect of being successful, is you have to get a lot done. And for me, getting a lot done makes me happy, but I also really relax when my work is done. So I kind of like cycle in my head, make sure I get my work done so that I can have my own relaxation time, and that's when I can really unplug. This week, I know that I'm going into labor at some point in the next, it could be any time, like from now until the next 2 weeks. My due date is in less than 2 days from now. Last time I was 12 days late, so I don't want to waste an entire week of potential production if I feel fine when I could otherwise be getting stuff done. It also happens to be the fall, where in my line of work, once the holidays hit, you're out until like well after ski season. So I'm trying to get a lot done up until then. Do I feel exhausted? Yes. Do I rally and like pull myself up by my bootstraps and keep it together? Yes. I took a nap yesterday in the middle of the day. I'm not like, abusing myself. I've heard many successful people say this, like, if you want to get to the next milestone in your life and you really want to push it and you want to be successful, like, needing to take time off and needing to relax and needing to not be stressed. Like, do I believe that if you work all the time that you're going to get burnout? Absolutely. Is there a good point to withdraw from what you're doing? Make sure you're recharging, make sure you're taking self-care? Absolutely. But working too hard, no such thing if you like your work. I mean, naysayers or people that listen to the people who are telling you that, they're not exceptionally successful. Yeah. They're just not. So it just depends. If you want a moderate life that doesn't look like making a lot, making a big impact, influencing your community, and you just want to have a normal paying job and a low stress life, that's fine. But if you want to be in the higher echelon of people that are successful and really be achieving your goals and dreams, even if that is completely philanthropic or whatever it is, doesn't have to be monetary, it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take not having that like perfect work-life balance all the time. 3 or 4 years into my company, we were growing like crazy. We were hiring too much, but I was probably working like 90 to 100 hours a week. And that includes like hosting and social events that are work related or business trips and stuff. So not like in front of a screen for 100 hours a week, more like all the things speaking on panels, but that can be really exhausting. Basically, extroverting out and talking to people in front of people for at least 80 hours a week is very exhausting, especially for me because I'm actually more of like an introvert. That time was really important, but now that I've done that, I am so much more happy and appreciative of the time I have now. And I think it takes being in those situations to really know what is important and what is the top like 20% valuable thing that you do that makes or breaks pushing your next milestone. Because you can basically have a lot of activity that is just going to conferences or speaking on certain panels and things like that, that is just a lot of noise, but not necessarily moving you towards your goal. And what I found is that whenever I've pushed myself to extremes and whenever I've really, really made sure I'm performing to get to that next level, I get to that milestone and then I can look back and go, okay, now I'm going to keep concentrating and whittling it down. And I can honestly say that I spend a lot less time working, but it's on the top quality things that are pushing my milestones forward. And I don't know any other way to do that other than doing all of that work that I did. And as in terms of just personal happiness, I'm so much happier because I don't work as much, or I work in a different sort of way where I'm doing things that are productive, but it's not the same grinding. But I definitely am much more productive than I used to be. I still get overbooked, unfortunately, with, I'm sure, many types of businesses, but in real estate, or especially with capital markets and getting deals funded and things like that, a lot happens like April and May and September and October. For example, a lot of people travel during the summer, a lot of people are off for the winter or the holidays. And it's just like, there are times when my schedule is insane. I mean, my schedule's been insane this week and I'm due in a week. And unfortunately, I don't really have a choice. But what I've been doing now is really focusing on what are those actions that are really important to get done and eliminating the rest of the noise, like, the 80-20 rule, really concentrating on those important things. But yeah, I know that in the summer and the winter, like I'm doing more things that are recharging. I'm doing more research, strategic planning. I'm not pushing myself because when it's game time, like I am going to have to be a lot more on. And that kind of goes back to my successful action, which is I always get my work done so I can relax as opposed to being either overwhelmed all the time or not being able to perform because I'm not pushing myself enough or I'm lazy. Yeah, I think you have to stay motivated by your goals. Even my husband and I can honestly say, which is something that's really cool, that we've achieved almost every goal we've set out for in the last 10 years together for our lives. And I'm not even 40 yet, which is a really cool thing. But it does tend for it to be like, okay, great. We have this like amazing home and we're very financially set up and we have beautiful children and we've donated a lot to charity and we've sat on our, boards in the community and we're kind of like, okay, what is the next step? You have to, and we do this at least twice a year, lay out your goals and continue to get to that next level and push yourself if you don't want to be complacent, right? That's part of being an ultra motivated person. A lot of people would just be happy with what we have and that's fine. I'm talking as though I want to be ultra successful, make a very big impact, do a lot for my, community and broader world. Like it just depends on what your goals are, but it takes an incredible amount of motivation. And the people that you see and look up to that are changing the world or have made a big impact on the world are very visionary and they're very motivated. So that's like what it takes is you just can't get complacent. I don't fail. It just takes way longer. It takes an incredible amount of time and perseverance to push what I want through. I can honestly say anything I've really wanted, I've gotten, but an example is I have this great new asset class that's a very high yielding asset class in the storage space that I've probably pitched to 150 people. And is that a failure if it's not funded? Right now it's considered a failure, but I know I'm gonna get it funded. It's just a matter of time. I'm just gonna have to keep going at it. I'm like a freaking woodpecker. But am I hard on myself over it? I've just been through it enough that I know, like, and I have enough confidence that I can get it done, that many times I'll be like, God, like, I can't believe that this isn't funded. But I also, like I said, I've been through this enough. I've been through enough obstacles. And when you really push yourself to overcome things over time, you have that confidence that I am going to get it done. It's just sort of a matter of time. I'm not like a walk in the park. You know what I mean? I'm not like Sunshine Sally all the time. Like my husband and I are both very aggressive, difficult people. Like I don't think you achieve a extreme amount of life, especially at our age, by being like super go with the flow and like, you know, not hard on yourself a little bit. It's just reality. I would say generally I'm really healthy. So I follow like a Mediterranean diet. I think rudimentary aspects of nutrition are very important in sleep. Like I've had sleeping issues over the years, and I've just done a lot to really address those and get proper rest. I take a lot of supplements. You know, I don't drink too much right now, and I'm not supposed to have a lot of caffeine. So I have like matcha tea, for example, or I do decaf coffee. But I really try to like not get into that like over caffeinated, stressed out, not eating. Like you got to eat regularly, you got to exercise, go on walks. Like basic things go a long way that I see, especially really successful people. It's like they're like, oh, I'm working so much, I don't have time for that. I'm talking like 30 minutes a day. If you want to take a conference call and a walk, do that. You know what I mean? But at least walk, eat regularly. I used to not eat for like 8 hours at a time because I was working and I totally forget about it. And what I realized later in life is that my blood sugar would be so irregulated that it would affect my sleep. So now, even if I grab a bar or I do food prep, or, you know, I have a lot more help to help me do food prep, like I make sure to eat regularly, because that alone like really affects how I sleep and my attitude and everything. Because I would basically get to like 7 or 8 hours, I'd be like irritated and be like, what's going on? It's like, oh, I've had like 3 cups of coffee and I haven't eaten. Like basic stuff actually goes a long way. And then otherwise, it's kind of like, I'm just not weak. Like you can't be weak if you want to be super successful. I remember when I broke up with my boyfriend, my mom in high school, I was like in bed for like 3 days or something. My mom was like, okay, we're done crying now. You have to wash your hair, put some lipstick on, and we're going to the mall and like pulling it together. And my mom has a lot of that wisdom. Like I never really saw her cry, which, you know, is sort of a generational thing, but there's an aspect to like not indulging in every emotion and every feeling that you have, and like pulling yourself together and like facing the day. Because in reality, whether or not you've cried about something for 3 days, you're still, it's not going to change the situation. So the faster you can like pull it together, the better off you'll be, I think. Not talking about like internalizing every emotion or anything, but like actually getting into action usually helps. When the markets were so down and I couldn't get a deal funded to save my life in the last 2 years, the one thing that makes me feel better, getting in front of my computer, getting on the phone, reaching out to people, sending emails, doing something, you know, in volume, really getting into action, really making sure I'm being productive, and that will usually help me overcome something. But that's just like, you know, that's a self-motivation that you have to look at it and go, you know, do I want to be successful or not? Because that's a trait, like you have to be very self-motivated if you want to be successful. Generally with being pregnant, like one, I am, you know, I am approaching 40, so I am having children later in life, which was a choice we made. I'm very thankful that I was able to get pregnant naturally and I never had to go down the road that a lot of people do. So that gives me a really good mindset for the physical challenges that I face as a CEO. Because I do try to be grateful that, you know, I've had very healthy pregnancies and I've never had to do any sort of medical intervention with that. But on the other hand, I totally underestimated the physical demands that being pregnant takes. And it really makes me have a newfound respect for mothers. If you want to be a CEO or be a mom or both, like I am, I hope you can get some insights from the videos I'm creating, because it is not to be taken lightly. I'd say the biggest thing is just the physical exhaustion and the lack of being able to sleep consistently. I probably get 5 to 6 hours of sleep a night over the course of 8 to 9 hours, and it's really tough waking up so tired. So many of my friends are always like, I don't know how you do that or whatever. I'm like, well, I don't really have a choice. Like, I can't just lay around all day. Like, my children, I have 3 children that need bottles when they wake up. I want to spend time with them. I have calls. I have my time with Steven. I have calls starting at 9. Like, I can create my own schedule and definitely make sure I'm self-caring, but I have too many people and things that I'm doing to really like lay around all day and just kind of nap. Like, I don't have a choice, right? So my body has actually gotten into a pretty highly functioning routine of being able to function when I'm tired because I'm so pregnant. I go to the doctor every week, everything's fine. But I think the physical exhaustion, I think the nauseousness, being not able to walk the last couple weeks is kind of inconvenient. It's just a total toll on your lifestyle, but it's also just something that's, I look at my other children and it's something that's obviously worth doing. But the point being that there are always challenges you're going to have physically or mentally. There's things that people have to overcome, and you can indulge in them and let it stop you from achieving things, or you can address it best as you can. I'm not talking about like just ignoring it, but like I said, keep in the nutrition, keep in all the things you can do to stay energized, add a nap into my schedule or something, but not let it stop you from achieving your goals, because that's when people get really depressed, and when they get, really, they start having one problem. If you focus on the problem you have, you get other problems, and your life becomes all about these problems. And that's like what you're focused on. If you focus on the solution and focus on what you need to get done, you don't have as many problems. I would say, if you are running into a lot of obstacles and you have goals to achieve, the very first thing is to define those goals and really put them on the fridge, put them somewhere, whatever it is, whatever the goal that you can achieve or some sub goal you can achieve in the next 2 or 3 months, like really put it there. What is it? And then lean into, there is something you can do to achieve that goal one at a time, and really lean into that and decide, okay, what do I need to get done this month or this week or today to really push towards that goal, and focus on solutions. Don't focus on all the things that you have that that your dad, the dad of your child is XYZ, or, you don't have this much money, or all the problems that people have. Totally valid, absolutely tough. Life is not easy, but you just can't focus on those when you're trying to push through something. So what can you do? What is one thing you can take action on that's going to push forward? And if you put your attention on the things that you can do as opposed to all the things that are stopping you, I promise that it will get easier to get things done. And those problems that you have will become lesser over time. I'm Meg. If you want to hear more about what motherhood has taught me about running a company, watch this next video.